Hello, my fellow awakening ones. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Atlantis. So, as some of you may know, probably not all of you, but at least some of you who watch my channel, I would imagine, at least a couple, know that not only was Atlantis a real civilization, but, there's just a lot most of us don't know about it. And for one thing, I would say they were as technologically advanced or more in a material sense. They were just as corrupted at the end spiritually, if not more so, than us. Although I don't know, maybe it's relative. But one thing I want to talk about is among that, in this time we've been repeating a lot of the energies, maybe all the energies, the dynamics or themes, you could say, of that civilization, and especially the ending period of it, and as it was falling, and then when it finally did fall with the flood. I would say like they had the same issues spiritually of distortions in ego resulting in cravings for power, domination, egoic competition, lust, sexual perversion. I think they may have been sacrificing people too, which a portion of the population does now. A small portion, but still a portion nonetheless. The hardcore Satanists would be the people today doing that. That the Atlanteans, repeating what the Atlanteans did. But one thing that strikes me as different, besides the similarities, is they did not have, for all their issues, they had health problems, physical health problems, and I guess mental health problems too, from the spiritual problems. But they did not have the sort of pervasiveness. They didn't have the level of chronic health problems, moderate to chronic health problems, that we have. And they, they just didn't have that. And then they had the power distortions, and they had a form of empire as well, which is where I think all the subsequent empires get that, in part, get that inclination for after the flood up to now. But they didn't have physical pollution either. I think they had some, but it's like they had electricity, or they knew how to work with electricity. They had land vehicles, flying vehicles. They had a form of computers. But all of that was powered with what is known as free energy, or 0 point. So we have that in pockets now, or at least I know we have growing number of people that know have made free energy devices, or know how to work with it at least, and not just in government, regular people, or maybe even people in academia that are not necessarily working on that officially, just for themselves, working on it at home. But our issue is that it's been suppressed, and it's still being suppressed, because if you have free energy, that threatens, you could argue, maybe every major industry, or every large company in every industry, especially not just the energy companies, and the government as well, since all the utility companies, maybe not all of them, but the ones in America are all public. They're supposedly public, private. I think they really more operate privately, but they have but they're still technically government run first. But yeah, they had everything we have. Well, they didn't have. I shouldn't say that. They don't have everything, but they have all these basic things that we most people believe we're the first here to ever have, or have a form of. And that's just not true. You might ask, how do I know this? And the simple answer is research and intuition. So some of it is from research, from evidence coming up of this civilization now, which I believe all the ancient pyramids were built during the time of Atlantis, not after, as they're claimed. But then just psychically, I'm aware of. I can feel it. It's part of it, and then I'm just aware, and I can kind of remember being different people now as well. So it's just innate from my intuition and being psychic, which to me, the psychic phenomenon is just a heightened level of intuition, which everyone has. Just some of it have it more and are in more nuanced ways and are more sensitive to different energies, information in the field. So that's psychic, being psychic, and that's all I wanted to share on that. And I could go on and on about that topic alone, I don't know, for an hour or two at least, but for now I just wanted to emphasize that. And then I guess the solution to our chronic illness, in short, since it is complex, is be careful what you eat, drink, get a lot of exercise, try not to be too sedentary, and don't take any medication from Western medicine for the most part, with just a couple exceptions. Everything else will either toxify and imbalance your body while giving some limited benefit or no benefit and just damaging your body. Every single one, even aspirin and ibuprofen. I know because I took a lot of aspirin at one point for headaches, and that really messed me up. But even if I hadn't have done that, it still does a little bit of damage to process through your liver and kidneys, all these things. And then you have, Zempic as unfortunately the latest example of that, which there are way healthier ways to lose weight. It's basically, like I said, mainly just about not eating certain things, not drinking alcohol. And you don't even have to get like a ton of exercise, just a little, but mainly, just maybe like a half hour walking at least a day, getting your heart rate up. But I guess, I don't know, maybe the other reason I thought of doing a video on this is part of me, I can kind of remember like as screwed up as they were, and they were very screwed up, as screwed up in some ways, or worse actually, but they didn't have illness. They didn't have physical illness like we have. And I guess it's like I see the world as it is, and now we're at the point where there's so much illness and chronic illness, and it's been going on for long enough, and then the thought around it has been controlled and conditioned to the point where people expect to have certain illnesses. Because I'm going on another topic here, but whatever, it's somewhat related. People expect to have certain illnesses, it's at certain points in life, like, oh, I'm 60, time for my hip to fail, or I'm 65, time for my memory to go, and people don't realize these are programs we were given, right? And there may be some basis, even if we didn't think anything, where just something gets off and you just notice it, and but then we're taught to give a physical reason for everything, and uh, and to and then when something happens, we're taught to judge it, and then go to the Western medical system, take a pill, a shot, a patch, um, a liquid, a syrup, a surgery, whatever, a scan, um, maybe a couple other things, and that's it. And most of that stuff doesn't, none of it to me actually seems to address the root of anything. Even with when somebody does a successful chemo treatment, it's still like it doesn't make it so that they won't get cancer again. It just gets it to a point where it's, you know, for all intents and purposes, manageable and not not going to interfere with the person's quality of life and daily functioning. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to come back, because it's always an emotional reason. There's always an emotional source of these things. So if that hasn't been addressed, either directly or just just anyways, then it'll come back, and it does. So anyway, take good care of yourselves, and if you got value out of this, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and you can donate. You can support my work at seth67/paypal.me.